What's up, Theta Gang? In this video, I'm going to be going through options contracts. If you've never heard of these, they can be a little bit confusing at first, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible. There's a few vocab words you're going to want to know. First, of course, what is an options contract? It's an agreement between a buyer and a seller that gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell a specific asset at a specific price on or before a specific date. So what's that mean? So a contract, we know, is a binding document between two parties. The two parties in this case are the buyer and the seller of the contract. The buyer has the option or the choice to fulfill on their part of the deal or not, and the seller has the obligation to fulfill on their part of the bargain. So they have to fulfill on their side, which in our case will be buying or selling a stock. So the buyer has the option and the seller has the obligation, which seems like a bad deal for the seller, but the buyer has to pay a fee for this privilege, and that fee is called the premium. The premium is the price the buyer pays the seller for the contract. Now, what is the contract for? The contract is for 100 shares. It's always 100 shares, so one contract equals 100 shares to be either bought or sold at a specific price. And that specific price that the buyer and the seller agreed upon is called the strike price. And the last bit of information that's in a contract is the expiration date. So that's the date the contract expires. So the buyer has to decide whether or not to execute his contract on or before that date, or the contract will expire worthless and the seller will just keep the premium. Now, if all that seems confusing, that's okay. It's confusing everyone at first. But go ahead and watch our next two videos where I break down buying and selling options from each perspective, and I give some real life concrete examples that really help you visualize it. And I know when I was first learning it, it helped make it more structured in my mind.